Hello friends, today we are going to discuss on the most important play As You Like It by William Shakespeare. So friends, let's begin. The play opens with two parallel actions. These actions are similar in the main but different in details. The rightful duke is banished by his younger brother, Duke Frederick. All his rights are then usurped by him. In private life, too, a younger brother Orlando is estranged from the elder brother Oliver due to the latter's ill treatment. Oliver conceives a great hatred for Orlando because he is brave, strong, and handsome. One day, Orlando demands that either Oliver should bring him up properly or should give hand over to him the money which his father Sir Orlando de Boys had left to him by will. This leads to a quarrel in which Oliver is threatened. Oliver promises to give Orlando money, but secretly determines to get rid of him by treachery. The opportunity is offered by the wrestling matches held by the usurper to keep the people of the land engaged. Oliver encourages Orlando to join a wrestling match with Charles. He incites Charles, who is Duke's companion wrestler, to break Orlando's neck. The wrestling match comes off on the next day. Orlando appears before the spectators, including the Duke. The Duke is so charmed at the handsome appearance of the young man that he takes the help of his daughter Celia and his niece Rosalind to try to dissuade from the contest. The Duke knows well that Orlando has seriously any chance against his professional wrestler. Orlando falls in love with Rosalind at first sight. Now he is not to be induced to give up his chance of glory in his mistress' eyes. The wrestling match takes place, and to the surprise of everybody, Orlando wins. But it only increases danger. The usurper learns that Orlando is the son of an old adherent of the banished duke, so he leaves the court without giving the promised prize to the winner. Rosalind and Celia are shocked at this. Rosalind takes the chain off her own neck and bestows this to the young winner. Duke Frederick's malice suddenly breaks out against Rosalind and Celia. Rosalind and Celia are talking of Orlando. Frederick enters the room, which looks full of anger orders. He orders Rosalind to leave the place at once and follow her father into banishment. Celia pleads for Rosalind, but in vain. The two girls love each other very much. They cannot bear being separated from each other. They make a plan to leave the court for the forest of Arden that very night, in the company of Touchstone, the court jester. They assume the names of Ganymede and Eliana respectively. Orlando hears from the old and trusty servant Adam that his wicked brother Oliver intends to destroy him by setting fire on his chamber that night. So he leaves his father's house with Adam. By chance, he wanders in the same direction as the two girls, too. They all come to the forest of Arden, where the banished duke and his followers fleet the time carelessly. In the forest, we find Rosalind and Celia taking shelter at a shepherd's house. Orlando meets them without recognizing who they are. He confides to Rosalind the secret of his hopeless love. She promises to cure him of his love if he comes every day and woos her as if she were his Rosalind. Orlando is very glad to try this remedy in Maya's spot. The courtship goes on from day to day. Orlando is living in the company of banished Duke, Rosalind's father. He recognized him as the son of his faithful supporter, Sir Roland de Boys. Orlando's brother Oliver faces difficulties. He is asked by the usurping duke to produce his brother Orlando. On his failure to do so, he has been deprived of all his belongings. He is then turned out of his house. Oliver also wanders in the same forest, and while asleep, hungry, and wayworn, he is by chance saved by Orlando from a snake and a lioness. Shame and remorse at once sees him and repents of his unworthy conduct. He beseeches with tears his brother's pardon for the injuries he has done to him. Orlando rejoins on seeing him penitent and readily forgives him. They embrace each other. From that moment, Oliver loves Orlando with a true brotherly affection. In his fight with the Lioness, Orlando is wounded, the wound in his arm having bled very much. He finds himself too weak to go to visit Ganymede. He therefore desires his brother to go and tell Ganymede about the incident which has befallen him. Oliver goes there and tells Ganymede and Aliena how Orlando saved his life and how he had cruelly treated Orlando. He tells them of their conciliation. Oliver expresses sincere sorrow of his offenses. He touches the kind heart of Aliena so much that she instantly falls in love with him. Oliver too falls in love with her at once. But while love is thrusting into the hearts of Aliena and Oliver, he is no less busy with Ganymede. Hearing the danger with Orlando had been in, she faints. When she recovers, she pretends that she had counterfeited the swoon in the imaginary character of Rosalind. Oliver returns to Orlando. He tells him how he has befallen hopelessly in love with Aliana. He also tells him that she has also lent a favorable ear to his suit even in their first interview. He talks to his brother as of the thing almost settled that she should marry Aliana, that he will live here as a shepherd and settle his estate and house at upon Orlando. The marriage is to take place the next day. The Duke and Orlando approved of it. Orlando now complains of his miserable condition. Ganymede assures him to that he will bring his Rosalind by the help of magic, so that he might marry her the next day when his brother will marry Aliana. The magician reveals herself to her father to the great joy of surprise of all. Two other couples, Vius and Phoebe, Tuston and Audrey, are also united in the wedlock on the day. Just as they are going to be married, the second brother of Orlando, Jacques de Bois, comes to the Duke. He tells the Duke that his usurper brother, who has come into the forest with an army, has repented of his misdeeds by coming across a hermit. So he has given up the kingdom in his favor. This joyful news comes apparently to heighten the festivity and rejoicing at the wedding of the princes. The Duke has now an opportunity of rewarding those true friends who stayed with him in his banishment. These were the followers, though they had patiently shared his adverse fortune, were very well pleased to return in peace and prosperity to the palace of their lawful duke.